All right. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to today's Nimble training webinar. My name is Yajas Chopra, and I'm the channel marketing coordinator here at Nimble. Today, we will be talking about the Nimble Customer Manager tool, and I'll be showing you how to import your data into the Nimble Customer Manager tool. I'll be showing you how to access your contact records and what you can configure about them. And I'll also show you how to set up the widgets in Office and in Google Chrome, and also how to use the phone app of Nimble. So before we do any of that, let's just get an understanding of what Nimble Customer Manager is and the difference between Nimble Customer Manager versus Nimble Business Manager. So what is Nimble Customer Manager? Nimble is an easy to use CRM that works for you everywhere you work. It automatically combines your contacts, communication histories, email inboxes, and calendar appointments, and it also integrates with social media. It is also completely free for Outlook customer managers for the first year. Now, what is the main difference between Nimble and Outlook Customer Manager? So with Nimble, you get everything that you already got in Outlook Customer Manager, plus much more. Nimble, first of all, will work everywhere on the web with you, whether that's your Outlook account or even anywhere on Google Chrome. It'll work within your favorite Office 365 apps. It also works within Outlook. And not only does Nimble's Outlook add and lets you update contacts and access company and contact insights, but you can pretty much manage your deals as well right from your inbox and do anything that you could do in Nimble right there in Outlook itself. And we also have a mobile app and a full desktop app that you get with Nimble and the standard subscription. Now, what is the difference between Nimble Customer Manager and Nimble Business Manager? So Nimble Customer Manager is, first of all, only exclusive for Outlook Customer Manager customers. And the main differences are that Nimble Business Manager is the subscription that everybody else gets. It's the $19 per user per month subscription that most Nimble users get. Nimble Customer Manager is only for Outlook Customer Manager customers. And the main differences are that you only get 5,000 contacts under Nimble Customer Manager, but you get 25,000 contacts under Nimble Business Manager. You get 5 users under Nimble Customer, but you get unlimited under Nimble Business. The reporting is different for both of them as well, because you don't get reporting features under Nimble Customer Manager. The email discovery feature as well is not something that's available in Nimble Customer Manager. And finally, you only get 10 custom fields and you don't get any PySync integration, but you get all of that with the Nimble Business Manager. These are our upcoming webinars in case you want to register for them. We do general overviews and we also talk about specific topics like we're talking about today. So make sure you register for the ones you want to. And if you're interested in learning more about Nimble Business, about seeing what the whole Nimble Business account gets you, you can sign up for any of our training webinars. The way you can do that is by going to our website at nimble.com/company/webinars. That's where you will be able to register for any webinars that you'd like to join for our Nimble Business customers. Also, please continue to leave your questions in the questions box. We will be answering them towards the end of the call today. And with that, let's get into the Nimble demo. So this is what Nimble Customer Manager looks like. Today, I'll not be going over the entire platform. I'll just be talking about the contacts area. I'll also be talking about how to import your contacts and how you can establish connections to Office and Gmail and Google Chrome and getting the mobile app as well. So let's go into contacts straight away. First, I'll show you what a contact record looks like, and then I'll show you how you can change a contact record as well. So let's just go over here to this contact record. So this is what a typical contact record in Nimble looks like. On the left-hand side is where you add stuff, and on the right-hand side is where you keep a track of the same stuff. On the left here, you can see I can add a note, and I can keep a track of the same note on the right. Note could be something that one of your colleagues takes down, said, for example, don't call this person from 12 to 1 p.m. Log activity, so you can log a task, an event, or a call as well, in case you don't want to have it as a note. So in case one of your teammates or you got on a call with, let's say, John over here, to add notes for that call, you can basically add it as a call under activity, and then it'll be saved as a call over here. You can also add a custom activity if there's something specific your company does. You can also schedule an activity for the future. You can message this person via email or Twitter, and you can also add a deal. And finally, you can keep a track of all of that on the right, like I mentioned, and even messages. And the great part about seeing messages through Nimble is that Nimble not only keeps track of your interactions with the person, but Nimble will keep a track of all interactions that this person has with your entire company. So for example, maybe John over here talked to somebody else in my company. I would still have a record of that conversation just because Nimble keeps track of all conversation, not just me and John's conversations. This is also an adjustable setting. If you don't want all of your colleagues to see your messages, you can lock your messages, but if you'd like them to see it, you can unlock them and everybody will have access to your messages in that case. After that, we come to data fields. So data fields is the first way that Nimble will help you organize your records. It's called custom fields in other platforms as well. And it's pretty easy to set up. How you set it up is by going to our settings area, and how you get to our settings area is by going to the top right over here. Go to settings over there. Go to the third last option called data fields. And this is where you will see lead type, lead source, and lead status. You can't change those, so don't bother changing those. All you need to do is go create a new tab on the top, and then you can add whatever fields you want. So right here, you can see we have newsletter, marketing, test, service newsletter, and sales newsletter. And if I go within a contact record, you will see the same fields show up there as well under data fields. So if I go under newsletter again, you'll see those are the exact same fields that come up over here. And then I can add new things as well, or stop or have yes or no as the answer for each field, and then look up people as well that match up a certain field. So now we saw that we had someone say yes for marketing newsletter. Now, if I want, I can just look for everybody who says yes to my newsletter over here by just going here, marketing newsletter, yes, update, and now it'll show me anybody who shows up. So since I just marked it like 2 seconds ago, it's not that responsive, but if I give it a couple of seconds, it'll definitely show up as people who show up under that field. So that's data fields. It's a customizable field that you can add into Nimble and keep a track of contact records as well. Usually it's used when you're creating something very structured. You know, for example, newsletter is something very structured because either people have subscribed to your newsletter or they've not. So that's a good data field to have. We also have many different ways to organize your records. So you don't only have to use data fields to organize your records. And I'll be talking about how you can do those towards the end of today's webinar. We also have company info over here. So there's only two types of records in Nimble: a person, which is John over here, and company, which is Nimble. It looks exactly the same, the company and person record. It just keeps a track of different information. For example, for a person, it keeps a track of their name and their email. The reason it keeps a track of their email is because email makes a name unique. Now, for example, if I ever import another record, but with this email, care@nimble.com, what Nimble will do is recognize that this is a duplicate record and merge them. I can show you an example here real quick. If I'm adding somebody, so let's just say I'm adding someone called John Anthony, I can just leave it as that. And then I can leave the email as care@nimble.com and save it. And there you go. You can see Nimble just found a duplicate right over there because I basically had the same email for them. So email is the unique identifier for record, for a person record, and for a company record, it's a domain. So now if I add another company with the same domain as nimble.com, Nimble will recognize that this is the same company record, so I'll just merge them. So again, if I'm just adding that, just as an example, and save, and then Nimble saw that it's going to merge, so it just didn't let me create the record because it's already here in Nimble anyway. So that's the difference between a person record and a company record. It looks exactly the same. It's just a person record will keep a track of email and name because email is what makes it unique. And a company record will keep a track of name and domain is what makes the company record unique. We also have social, so you can connect with them on social media profiles if you'd like. And then we also have signals, which is just maybe any interaction they've had with you on social media. This is not currently, this feature is not currently available for Nimble Customer Manager customers. This is only available for Nimble Business Manager. We also have integrations in case you want to link a third-party website into Nimble over here. And we also have files where you can attach a file from OneDrive, Google Drive, or Dropbox. After that, we move towards the bottom of the record. So now I'm at the complete bottom of the record. And the first thing you will see at the bottom is Smart Summary. And Smart Summary is basically Nimble's AI coming into play. You can see I have John's LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook linked out and his email. So now that gives Nimble the ability to go to the social medias and his email and pick up more information. So now Nimble picked up his experience, his bio, his influence, his location, his birthday, and even 2 websites that they found his name on. So Nimble can help you pick up more information than even you might know about a person if you link their social media profiles to their record. We have lead fields over here. Like I showed you when we were in the data fields area, the lead fields is the first thing you will see. And this is exactly where it shows up in a record. Under lead fields, it's lead status, lead source, and lead type. This field is usually used for people who are not customers yet, who are your leads. You can basically assign a lead status, lead source, and a lead type for them. And then when you go to look for a record, you can look for people that match a certain lead type or a lead source. So now if I want, I can just search for lead type over here and just say, look for everybody who has probably this as their lead type. And there you go. It shows me 3 people who fall under that lead type. So that's how lead type works. And if you want to add more values to your lead type, all you have to do is go to settings, like I showed you, go to data fields. And the first thing you will see is lead type, lead source, and lead status. And this is where you can add more values if you want to reduce a value that you're seeing there. And Nimble will make the same exact changes for you. Let's go back to the record. And yeah, that was lead fields. And now we come to the last way that Nimble will help you organize your records, which is through tags. Tags is also the most informal way that Nimble helps you organize your records. As you can see, there's not really much structure to it. It's almost whatever you think, you can have it as a tag. Now, if I maybe met John at a conference, I can simply just tag him met at conference, and that can be a tag as well. And now I can also look for everybody who falls under that tag by clicking that tag right over there. So now it shows me there's 6 people who I met at a conference, and they've all been tagged met at conference. So that means that's how I know them. So that's what tags is used for. It's basically used for, you could say, more looser ways of organizing your records. It's not so stringent and strict as far as like data fields is concerned, because data fields is more well built out, and you kind of have to think that this has to be something that it applies to every record. So it's either a newsletter or there's something about the demographics, where they're from, which location, what gender they are. That could be a data field. But something, a tag would be maybe you met them at a conference, maybe they showed up for a webinar. You can tag them that just to make sure that you can identify them when you look at their record. So that's the difference between tags, data fields, and lead fields, and everything else in a contact record. You can also edit a contact record if you'd like. In case you see some information that's not supposed to be there, you can edit it yourself and change it. So that's the contact record. Now that I've talked about a contact record, let me show you the 3 different ways that you can get this contact record into Nimble. The first way that you can get this contact record into Nimble is by just clicking add person. You can add your name, last name, title, company, email, phone, whatever you're adding for that person, and then just save it. And then that contact record is added into Nimble. So that's the first way that you can add a new record. The second way is through our prospector. So we have a prospector in Google Chrome where you can just switch it on, and it starts basically working with you in Google Chrome now. And now what I can do is highlight somebody's name. And if she's not part of my CRM yet, it shows me Jordan Helling is not part of my CRM. I can just click plus, and there you go. Her record has been created in Nimble. I can click her name, and on Nimble will show me her Nimble record, which exists in my CRM. So I'm just giving Nimble a second over here. And there you go. Jordan has been added into Nimble as well. I'm just going to map out her social media profile so Nimble picks up some information as well. So that's the second way that Nimble will help you add records into Nimble. And the third way is by doing it in a mass pattern, doing it all at once. The 2 ways I showed you are just one by one. But if you want to import, let's say, more than 25 or 50 people, you will have to do it through a spreadsheet. How you can do that is by going to networks and imports. This is an important setting, and it's one of the first settings that I always recommend everybody check out and set up. Networks and imports is essentially how Nimble works, because networks and imports helps you establish connections from Nimble to your email account. And on top of that, it helps you import contacts into your Nimble account as well. So first, let me show you how to import your contacts, and then I'll show you how to connect your email accounts and your social medias to Nimble. How you can import your spreadsheet is, it depends where it's coming from. So if it's from LinkedIn, you can definitely just import it through LinkedIn itself and through this option by basically just get a CSV export from LinkedIn and import it directly into Nimble. If you do it through this option, Nimble already knows a LinkedIn spreadsheet, so you don't have to really do anything. You can also, if you're using a different, if you use any of these platforms over here and you see a platform that we import from, you can definitely do it from there as well. Now, most times when you do it from LinkedIn or from some other platform, you really don't have an option. You just kind of have to import everybody. If you want to have the most control on who you're getting into Nimble and what it really is being controlled, the best way to do it is through a spreadsheet. Before I show you the process of how to upload a spreadsheet, let me show you a spreadsheet that's fit for an upload into Nimble. So we got the spreadsheet over here. It's a different name on my laptop. So when I upload the spreadsheet, I'll make sure I indicate that. But this is what it looks like. So the most important fields are the top ones. You need to have these for sure. And it needs to go, it doesn't need to be in a chronological order. Doesn't need to be name first and email second or tag last. It can be any which way you'd like. But this is what it needs to look like. It needs to have last name, first name. It needs to have email, so name becomes unique. So make sure if you have an email, you always add it. So because that will make the name unique. Company, have that as well, and domain for sure. So that domain makes company unique. So just make sure you have these 5 for sure: name, email, company, and domain. And also have it as first name and last name, not as full name, because Nimble will not import full name. It'll only import first and last names. After that, everything is optional. Everything is on you in terms of what you want to see in Nimble and what kind of fields you want edited in Nimble when this record goes in. I for here have this my lead type, lead source, and lead status. So when I upload these records into Nimble over here, it'll only update lead type, lead source, and lead status. It won't update anything else, and it'll upload a tag. So now let's say John was a record, I imported from this spreadsheet over here. Excuse me, let me just look for that. Yep. So the spreadsheet over here, let's say John was a record over here. Now, the only things in his record that would be changed is 2 tags would come on his name and 3 his lead fields would change, because that's exactly what the Excel sheet is showing. Now I can also change some more stuff. Now let's say I want to change the newsletter data field and just make sure everybody here is subscribed to my newsletter. I'll just copy and paste this field all over. So everybody said yes to my newsletter, and that's another field in my Nimble CRM that I can configure. So on the data fields, I can show you that. So this field will basically be updated once these contacts are uploaded. So now that we kind of have an understanding of what the spreadsheet needs to look like, and if you're ever struggling with any part of the onboarding, or you feel like you need a template of the spreadsheet, please feel free to go to support.nimble.com. We have many different ways we can help you in getting started. And also just reach out to us. If you want to see a template, we can also send you a template of what requires to be sent into Nimble. So that's perfect. So that's the spreadsheet we have over here. And that's the Nimble account. So now let's upload the spreadsheet. We'll do it to networks and imports. And let's go to CSV over here, upload CSV file. Let me save that spreadsheet before I upload it. Always make sure you save it as a CSV, because Nimble will not be able to import it in any other format. So I'll just save this as upload. Oops, I saved that as an XLS. One more second here. So CSV. And now we'll choose the file to upload. Perfect. Nimble will always ask you if it's coming from some different data source. If it's your own spreadsheet, you don't have to. So just go to the next step from there. And this is the important step. This is where Nimble will map out the fields according to what you had in the spreadsheet. So I can basically, what I'm doing here is saying last name in column of last name in my spreadsheet should equal to last name in Nimble. First name in my spreadsheet should be equal to first name in Nimble, and so on and so forth. And you can see Nimble's already picked up all the fields on its own. Just to show you as an example how it would pick it up is, if I want newsletter to be picked up, I'll just go over here. And there you go, newsletter has been picked up as well. And tag is always going to be saved as single tag. And then we go to the next step. This is where Nimble will ask you in terms of overwrite and merge options. Do you want to override existing contact fields with data in the CSV? What that basically means is if Roberto records was in Nimble already, and he has a different, let's say, lead type from the spread. So the lead type in the spreadsheet is different from the lead type in Nimble already. What you're basically telling Nimble to do is override the existing contact fields with the data in the CSV. So no matter what's in Nimble, the data in the CSV is the correct data. So that's what should be regarded as the correct data. The second option here is just saying that you can merge on email if available, or if it's not available, just merge on first and last name as far as the name is concerned. So this is just done in case you want to make sure there's not many duplicates in your CRM. And then finally, you can also merge the companies on name if there's no match by domain or email. And then you can also save have a tag for this upload. I always recommend you have a tag when you upload something into Nimble, so you can always narrow down that upload and see if everything was done properly, or in case something's missing. For this upload, I can just call it test upload because this is not really a serious one that I'm doing. And I'll just call it 1 and finish. Now, once you're doing that, Nimble will email you once it's done. It'll not just update the screen automatically. So make sure you keep a track of your email when you're uploading data or when you're uploading spreadsheets into Nimble. If it's less than 100 contacts, it should be done in less than 5 minutes. If it's more than 100 contacts, it's going to take some time, obviously, for Nimble to get those records in. So now that I've showed you how you can import your contact records as well into Nimble, let me show you the different ways you can set up the different widgets we have in Nimble. So the first widget I showed you was the LinkedIn widget. How you can get this is through the Chrome Web Store. This is not the LinkedIn widget, sorry, I apologize. This is basically the Google Chrome widget. It does not only work in LinkedIn, it'll work on any other website that you're possibly on. You just need to switch it on from the top right over there. And how it works is you need to go to the Chrome Web Store. It's called the Nimble Prospector, and you can add it from there. And once it's added, we'll just ask you to log in. And once you log in, you will basically be able to use Nimble anywhere you work on the web, it's not just nimble.com, which gives you immense power in terms of if you want to add a record, let's say I want to maybe add Dan Alexander here or somebody else. All I have to do is just switch on Nimble and highlight his name, and Nimble will try to look for Dan Alexander, and then I can add him. So this widget will work anywhere, and it's enabled through the Chrome Web Store. We have another widget that is exclusively only for Outlook. So let's say you're in Outlook email, you're reading it from Tim over here. In a traditional CRM, you would always search this person's name in your CRM by copying and pasting it. But in Nimble, with Nimble, all you can do is just switch on Nimble from the top right, or in this case, from the 3 dots in the email. And now Nimble will switch on the widget, which will show you who this record is exactly in Nimble. And then you can do whatever you want with the record in terms of adding a tag, editing the record itself, adding a note, event, task, call, whatever you need to do, you can. And then if you want to set it up, how you would do it is by clicking get add-ins, and you just have to get the Nimble Outlook add-in, and it'll be added. This is also there for Outlook Desktop. So once you get it for Outlook Online, it should come for Outlook Desktop as well. If it doesn't, just make sure you do the get add-ins button in the Outlook Desktop app as well, and it'll show up for sure. So that's the different ways those are the 3 different widgets we have and how you can set them up. We also have a mobile app at Nimble. So in case you want to have Nimble on your phone, you can do it through the mobile app. And in the mobile app, we give you a couple of things. You all obviously have your basic, you have your basic infrastructure where you have your basic meetings and calls that you can see. But at the same time, you can also scan business cards into Nimble. And once you scan business cards, it'll come up as a record. And that really helps in case if you've ever been to a conference. I know there's the Inspire conference going on right now. And last year, I remember I had a whole stack of business cards that I took home. But just because I had the Nimble Business Card Scanner app, I didn't have to take them home. I just scanned them immediately and didn't leave them in a corner of my office where most business cards actually end up. So Nimble Business mobile app will help you scan business cards and add records immediately into Nimble as well. And yeah, those are the main topics I wanted to discuss today in terms of importing contacts and Outlook and using Nimble with Outlook and your mobile app as well. I'll be looking if there's any questions for now. If there aren't any, I'll just start talking about the whole Nimble app. So David mentioned that there is no sound. David, please let me know if you can still hear me. I think that other attendees still can listen to me. So in case you can't hear me, please let me know. I'll just repeat whatever I just mentioned in the past 20 minutes. Currently, we have a question here from Hiri as well. So currently, only each user can see his or own messages and not that of group members. How do we change that? And can we see other members' messages as well? So this is a great question. Yeah, you can definitely see other people's messages, and how to set it up is through networks and imports. So this spreadsheet is pretty much uploaded by now, so I can change my settings. So let's go to networks and imports. I already showed you how you can upload a spreadsheet. What I didn't show you was setting up the email accounts. So when you go towards the bottom of your networks and imports page, you will see Office 365 and Gmail and calendar. So you can establish connections to Office, Gmail and your calendar. And within there itself, you can basically mark if the message is something private or public. Yeah, so let me just show you how that would work. Let me remove a connection and add it back into Nimble. So I just remove Outlook. Now I removed Office. Now I'm going to add it back into Nimble. Now Nimble will always ask you what you want to integrate into Nimble. Is it your email, contacts, or calendar? So I'll just deselect my contacts and connect Office 365. Nimble will communicate with Microsoft and log me in. And there you go. We've been connected. I won't connect any calendars. I'll just click finish. And this is where you will see that lock. Now, when you have that lock, it means only you can see your conversations. Nobody else in your company can see your conversations. If I just basically unlock it, Nimble will confirm. This will make all messages in your account visible for everybody in your team. I'll just say yes. And there you go. Now, anybody in my Nimble CRM who sees this Office 365 email that I exchange with anybody, they would see all my messages, not just their messages, but all of my messages now. And anybody in my team will be able to see them now, not just one person. So that's how you unlock it and lock it for privacy. You can also always switch it back whenever you want, and no one will be able to see your messages then. Okay, perfect. Thanks for confirming that, David. I'll just be looking if there's any more questions. Okay, looks like we don't have any more questions for now. So let me just show you the whole Nimble Business App as well. And I'll just wait for more questions in case there are any. Before we go there, let's just explore what happened with that import that we just did 2 seconds ago. So test upload 1 was the tag for that. I'm just going to, so you saw that 56 people came in. Let me just confirm if I had that many records in Excel. So 56 might have come in because of company as well. So company records come in on as their own. So that's the reason why it could be 56 instead of just 31. And looks like we got a lot of our records in. I'm just going to make sure everything came through. So the tags came, the tags that we wanted. We didn't have lead fields for all of them. So let's see who has lead fields updated for them. Okay, looks like a few records have lead fields as well. And yeah, that's how you upload contacts into Nimble. So just do the networks and imports area. And now that we've explored this upload, let's go and show you the whole Nimble Business App and the difference between them. So this is Nimble Business. As you can see, there's already a couple of updates that you can see, where on the top, you can see a lot more tabs than you saw before with just 4. The reason is that we give you a couple of extra features. The one main feature we give you is social media connection. You can basically use your social media with Nimble once you have Nimble Business, and you can set up a Twitter connection just the same way establish the email connection right now through the networks and imports area. And it'll basically let you use your entire Twitter account right here within Nimble itself. You don't have to go to Twitter to use your account. And you can also have a new message or a status update, which you schedule for a certain time right over here. Additionally, we also give you the ability to send messages through Nimble. So you can send emails and then you can keep a track of them through the Nimble Business App. and we let you know whenever somebody opens that email. So right here, Paul Bradley opened my email a month ago. Nimble shows me that. This also works for group messages. And the greatest part about sending emails to Nimble in the Nimble Business application, at least, is that no email that is sent from Nimble is actually sent out from Nimble. It actually goes out from your email account. So where I establish my networks and imports connections, you can see I added my email account and my Office account and my Gmail account. So basically, any email I send will always be sent from one of those two platforms, never from Nimble. What that does is when somebody receives your email, they have no idea that this came from a tool. They feel like it came directly to them from your email. So you'll always get high open rates whenever you send an email through Nimble, versus if you send it through something like MailChimp or Intercom or any other marketing automation tool, because Gmail and Outlook already know when an email comes from those platforms, it's mostly spam. So you'll just put it in the spam folder, which is why whenever you send an email through Nimble, you'll always get high open rates as opposed to sending an email through MailChimp or Intercom or any other marketing automation tool, just because those emails don't have a very high chance of ending up in the person's inbox. Finally, we have activities, which is the same as the one we have in Nimble Customer Manager. There's no difference there. The main difference does come in the deals pipeline, though, where in Nimble Customer Manager, you only have one pipeline, but in Nimble Business Manager, you can see your multiple pipelines, which really helps if you sell multiple products or if you have multiple businesses that you manage under one label. And we can also show you a report on what's happening with your deals area. And finally, the one biggest feature that Nimble Business Manager has that Nimble Customer Manager doesn't is the ability to find emails as well. So like I showed you, I was on LinkedIn before as well. Let me just, I don't need to leave LinkedIn right now. I'll just switch on Microsoft as, switch on the Nimble Prospector from here. Let's say now we're probably looking at Lauren Holland's email. So even though we already have her record, let's just add it again. And let me change her. Okay. So her company is not Ingram, it's Microsoft. I'll just change that, save, search for contact info. So this is what Nimble does. You can search for contact info under Nimble Business Manager, but you can't do this under Nimble Customer Manager. And basically all you have to do is give Nimble a first name, last name, and company name. And that'll give Nimble the ability to maybe find an email, or even more, if it can find some more information about this person. So that's it. Nimble can only find an email for now. So it just found us this email. And there you go. You go from not knowing anything about a record to even having as much as an email about them. And then obviously that smart summary, since you've mapped out the social media profiles, it'll start picking up information. And if you give the Nimble Prospector a day or two, or the Nimble Smart Summary a day or two, it'll be more updated and it'll have more information over there, as opposed to only having one paragraph for now. So with that, I'm done showing the differences as well between Nimble Business and Nimble Customer. I'm just going to be looking for any last questions that we have over here. Is there a way to bring in only emails that is related to deals in the deals section and not all mails with contacts? So yeah, there is definitely a way you can do that. If you have a deal, all you have to do is have a primary contact, and having a primary contact will give Nimble the ability to basically start, showing you the messages between them. So if you want to see the messages that are happening between you and a record, but you don't want everybody else to see it, all you can do is just add them as a primary contact within a deal as well, and then just go under messages. So I don't think, okay, let me just create that again with a new primary contact. So I'll just call this test. Primary contact, let's have this as Michaela. My bad. Okay, so she's here as well, and we'll add her as the participant as well, just so she sees this in her account as well. You just have to have primary contact if you want to see information. Participant is almost somebody who would be with you, who's helping you with the sale, and then save, and it will show up under messages. So just, if you give Nimble a couple of seconds for Nimble to, so, okay, now I see the problem. Nimble doesn't have a record for this person, so let's just create a record for her. So this is another thing that's important, is if that record doesn't have an email attached to their name, Nimble will not be able to show you the communication between them. So there you go. I have her email saved up now. So if I give Nimble, I think a couple more seconds here, it should be able to show me all communication that exists between me and Michaela right now. So right now, Nimble's reading our inboxes. That's what's taking a little time. So there you go. Now all the communication between me and Michaela has showed up because she's listed as a primary contact and she has an email attached to her record. If you don't have that, it won't work. So now that we're done with that, let me look for another last question. I remember seeing one more. In a deal, I can link more contacts. Can I add a reason for adding a contact? For example, the added contact is a supplier on the deal. For example, adding a team member who will supply info for the deal. So if you just want everybody to know what's happening with the deal, you can log a note and then just let them know whatever. So you said you want to let them know that the added contact is a supplier. So you can just say contact is supplier. And this is now linked to this deal. So now when you go with the notes, you will see contact as supplier. So whoever sees this will see that as well. Coming back to the prior question, I have deal with John, but do not want to see all my emails from John, but only the ones that is related to the deal. Unfortunately, we can only show you all communication. We cannot show you just a couple of emails that you haven't, that only discuss the deal between you both. It's either all communication or no communication as far as the deal, adding the person to the deal goes. So I don't see any more questions coming in for now. If you have any more questions, whether they pop up right now or in the future, feel free to email care@nimble.com. So that is CARE @nimble.com. That is our customer care team. They'll get back to you as soon as possible. You can also message us directly from our app. If you're in the Nimble app, just go to the question mark button and you can go to the support page or message us directly or join a training webinar as well if you're interested. Finally, we have a support page and a YouTube channel as well. So if you just need some self-starter help or if there's a question you want to troubleshoot yourself, you can do it through the support page or you can do it to the YouTube channel. I'd like to thank everybody who joined the webinar today. We will be sending the recording on later today. So if in case you missed a part of it, don't worry, you can catch it up with it. And we'll also be sending out the invitations for next week. So make sure you sign up in case you're interested. Thank you and have a great rest of your day.